Good evening. All are requested to keep their mobile in silent mode and no photography.
May I have your lordship's permission to commence the proceedings of the court?
Learned Attorney General Shri R. Venkatramani, Learned Solicitor General Shri Tushar Mehta, all learned law officers, Shri Vikas Singh, President Supreme Court Bar Association, Shri Manoj Kumar Mishra, President Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association, members of the bar, family members of late Shri Justice R.C. Lahoti and late Shri K.N. Singh, Justice K.N. Singh, who are present here and who have joined online, ladies and gentlemen. We have congregated this afternoon to remember and pay homage to Shri Justice R.C. Lahoti and Shri Justice K.N. Singh, former Chief Justices of India. Shri Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti was born on 1st of November 1940. After completing BCom honors from Bombay, he chose to follow the footsteps of his father, Shri Ratanlal Lahoti, who was an eminent advocate, social worker, and a freedom fighter. He acquired his law degree from Holkar College, Indore, and was also awarded a gold medal for securing first position in the university. He joined the bar in District Guna in the year 1960, enrolled himself as an advocate in the year 1962. In April 1977, he was recruited directly from the bar to the State Higher Judicial Service and was appointed District and Sessions Judge. However, after functioning in that capacity for a year, he resigned in May 1978 and rejoined the bar for practice mainly in the High Court. He was well known for his knowledge of law and was having finest legal mind with sharp intellect. He appeared in constitutional, taxation, civil, criminal, and labor cases of importance. He was appointed as an additional judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court on 3rd of May 1988 and became permanent judge on 4th of August 1989. He was later transferred to Delhi High Court on 7th of February 1994, where he remained actively associated with the judicial officers training programs during his tenure in Delhi High Court. In 1995, the Supreme Court appointed him as one-man inquiry commission to investigate into the claims of frustrated buyers of flats from Messrs. Skipper Construction Company, where more than 800 claims were decided by him within a year. In 1996, he was appointed as one-man court of inquiry to investigate into the cause of mid-air collision between Saudi Arabia Boeing 747 and Kazakhstan plane at Charkhi Dadri near Delhi, and to make recommendations to avoid such incidents. Within a short period of nearly 8 months, the inquiry report was submitted by him. Both the commissions were conducted without suspending the judicial work in the High Court. On 9th of December 1998, he was appointed as Judge, Supreme Court of India, and became the 35th Chief Justice of India on 1st of June 2004. During his tenure in the Supreme Court, he authored as many as 342 judgments. He gave many important judgments such as AIMS Students Union versus AIMS, in Re Anil Panjwani, State of Gujarat versus Mirzapur Moti Qureshi Kasab Jamaat, which dealt with Article 25 of the Constitution of India relating to essential religious practices. PA Inamdar versus State of Maharashtra, relating to the admission procedure and fee structure in professional, unaided, minority and non-minority educational institutions. Speaking for a bench of 7 judges, he opined on the issue of obligations and duties of an institution to maintain requisite standards of professional excellence by giving admissions based on merit and making it equally accessible to eligible students through a fair and transparent admission procedure based on reasonable fee structure. I must say, as a lawyer, I had the privilege to appear in that matter. The next case was P. Ramchandra Rao versus State of Karnataka. In that case, speaking for a 7-judge constitution bench concerning right to speedy trial under Article 21 of the Constitution, he held that the Supreme Court cannot fix any time limit for conclusion of criminal proceedings or trial, thereby entitling the accused to be acquitted on the grounds of delay. K. Prabhakaran versus P. Jayarajan was an important judgment dealing with the question whether a person who has been convicted for various offenses and sentenced for each offense to periods of less than 2 years, but cumulatively and consecutively for a period over 2 years in one and the same trial, is disqualified to contest an election under Section 8(3), read with Section 101A of the Representation of the People Act 1951. Javed versus State of Haryana, dealing with Panchayat and Zilla Parishad elections in the state of Haryana, he affirmed that a person having more than 2 living children would not contest election and would be disqualified. In Sarbananda Sonowal versus Union of India, where a public interest litigation was filed seeking repeal of the Illegal Migrants Determination by Tribunals Act 1983, and by which the Act placed the responsibility to prove an individual as an illegal migrant upon the police, as opposed to the individual having to furnish proof of citizenship as provided in the Foreigners Act. A 3-judge bench presided over by Justice Lahoti held the Act to be violative of the Constitution. It was held that the reversal of this burden of proof in cases under IMDT Act acted as a barrier to the detection of illegal migrants and was discriminatory against the people of Assam. Again, I had the privilege to appear before the bench in that case, and I have very fond memories of that case. Chief Justice Lahoti demitted the office on 31st of October 2005. He participated in several international conferences and seminars abroad relating to law and justice. After retirement, Justice Lahoti also served as an arbitrator in several high-profile matters. In the year 2015, he was named the arbitrator in the Vodafone tax case. The dispute pertained to issues of retrospective taxation, capital gains taxes, and transfer pricing. He was a karma yogi, mentor, friend, and godfather to many in the legal fraternity, philanthropic, social, and education circles. He believed in the ideology of Swami Vivekananda and religiously followed his principles in life. His behavior towards the members of the bar was cordial, friendly, and excellent. He taught the young lawyers like a professor and mentor. He was always kind and supporting to the members of the bar and was held in high esteem and commanded respect from the bench, bar, and litigants throughout the country. He had immense interest in legal aid services and ADR systems and made significant contribution in promoting ADR mechanism, ensuring cheap and speedy justice, and achieving vision of access to justice for all, particularly the downtrodden and weaker sections of the society, which upholds the fate of the people in the justice delivery system. He maintained a very healthy and disciplined lifestyle. He was not only an avid reader himself, but encouraged others to read. Gifting people books containing messages on how to derive maximum benefit from them was something he relished. He was a champion of social causes and donated anonymously. He was always eager to learn and open to experiment, which allowed him to remain ahead of the curve. He was of the firm belief that reading spiritual, motivational, inspirational books and biographies or autobiographies is an essential source to augment the knowledge and improvise one's own personality. To him, work was worship. He never shied away from learning something new as he believed that it was never too late to learn. He never compromised on anything less than the best and believed that if you have accepted an assignment, you must put your heart into it. He left for heavenly abode on 23rd March 2022 and is survived by his wife Srimati Kaushalyaji Lahoti, son Shri Ujjwal Lahoti, daughters Srimati Pankaj Soni, Professor Archana Mantri, and Dr. Vandana Marda and their families. Shri Justice Kamal Narain Singh was born on 13th of December 1926 into a family of landed farmers in a village called Chakdiha, which was part of United Provinces in British India. He was the first in the family to receive formal Western education. Completed his BA program in the year 1946. Although he was selected to join the Air Force, but he eventually turned to law. Having a great thirst for knowledge, he did a combined course of LLB and MA degree programs at the University of Allahabad in the year 1949. As a young man filled with the spirit of nationalism, he came in contact with the freedom fighters and even took part in the freedom movement. During his initial days, he gave night classes to educate the illiterate masses. In the year 1950, he enrolled as a pleader in the District Court of Allahabad, but started practicing only in the year 1957, since he had continued to be politically active, mainly in the rural parts of Allahabad district. He practiced on civil, constitutional, and taxation matters at Allahabad. He specialized in election law and represented many politicians such as Lal Bahadur Shastri, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Chaudhry Charan Singh, Raj Narain, among others. He was appointed as Junior Standing Counsel for the government of Uttar Pradesh in the year 1963 and became the Senior Standing Counsel in the year 1967. He was appointed as the Advocate General of Uttar Pradesh in March 1970, but held that post only till May 1970. He was appointed as an additional judge of the Allahabad High Court in August 1970 and became a permanent judge in the year 1972. He was elevated to the Supreme Court of India on 10th of March 1986. On 25th of November 1991, he assumed the office of the Chief Justice of India. During his tenure in the Supreme Court, he authored many important judgments such as Irrigation Department Government of Orissa versus G.C. Roy, dealing with Arbitration Act 1940 on the issue of interest pendentility. He held that the interest pendentility can be awarded by arbitrator having regard to the facts and circumstances of the case for doing complete justice between the parties, where claim as to interest is made by the parties and the agreement does not contain anything to the contrary. Shashi Nair versus Union of India. Relating to the petition filed under Article 32 of the Constitution of India challenging the constitutional validity of death penalty, while holding the provision for death sentence not violative of Article 21, he held that capital punishment can be awarded in rarest of rare cases alone. Charanlal Sahu versus Union of India. In a concurring judgment delivered on the issue of Bhopal gas leak disaster, he affirmed the constitutional validity of Bhopal Gas Leak Disaster, Processing of Claims Act, 1985. That is, directions were not only given for interim compensation or maintenance, but suggestions were also made for taking precautionary measures and for effectively dealing with such industrial disasters in future. Delhi Judicial Services Association versus State of Gujarat, in which some police officers had assaulted, arrested, handcuffed a chief judicial magistrate to wreak vengeance and to humiliate him in order to show superiority of police power and privilege. Justice Singh found that a case for criminal contempt against the police officers was made out and laid down guidelines to be followed by the state governments as well as the high courts while arresting judicial officers. As a junior working in the chambers of Mr. Sorabji, who was then the Attorney General, I had the privilege to appear in this matter and I followed it right from moment number one. MC Mehta versus Union of India. In a writ petition against Ganga water pollution, he gave a supplementing judgment and issued directions for the closure of the tanneries which had failed to take minimum steps required for the primary treatment of industrial effluents. It was also held that the closure of the tanneries may bring unemployment, loss of revenue, but life, health, and ecology have greater importance to the people. He demitted the office on 12th of December 1991. Post his retirement, he was appointed as the chairman of the 13th Law Commission of India in the year 1992, which post he held till the year 1994. He also presided over many arbitration tribunals. He was an avid golfer and even served as the president of the Delhi Golf Club. He was religious and spiritual and was a firm believer of karma. He selflessly helped others. He treated everyone with equal respect. One of his daughters, Sanita Singh, has penned a book on her father titled Making of a Chief Justice of India, Life and Times of Justice Kamal Narain Singh, which was released very recently. He left for heavenly abode on 8th of September 2022 and is survived by his son Justice Devendra Pratap Singh, former judge of the Allahabad High Court, daughters Srimati Usha Singh, Srimati Sadhana Singh, and Srimati Sunita Singh and their families. My brother and sister judges join me in conveying our heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families, and we pray to the Almighty to give them strength to bear this irreparable loss with fortitude. May the departed souls rest in peace.
Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court, Solicitor General, Additional Solicitor General, President and Office Bearer of the Supreme Court Bar Association, Advocates on Record Association, members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. It's with immense sadness that you assembled today to condole the demise of Justice Ramesh Chandra Lahoti, former Chief Justice of India and former Judge, High Courts of Madhya Pradesh and Delhi. Justice Lahoti was born on 1st of November 1940 in district Guna, Madhya Pradesh. He did his BCom from Arepura College in Bombay, the awarded the LLB degree from Holkar College, Indore. His distinctions earned him a gold medal in the hands of the then Vice President of India, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. He joined the bar in his home district in 1960 and was enrolled as an advocate in 1962. After serving as a district and session judge for a year in May 1978, he reverted to the bar to pursue his practice primarily in the High Court. On 3rd of May 1988, Justice Repeal was appointed as the Additional Judge of the Madhya Pradesh High Court and was made a permanent judge on 4/8/1989. Thereafter, he was transferred to the High Court of Delhi on 7/2/1994 and later appointed as Judge of the Supreme Court on December 9, 1998. As Ramesh Chandra Lahoti was appointed the 35th CJI on June 1, 2004 and served for almost 18 months before he retired on 31st October 2005. During his tenure as a judge, Justice Lahoti, by dint of his legal acumen, had earned great respect and regard not only from his colleagues on the bench, but from the bar too. His colleagues on the bench recall him as an extremely compassionate person and equally blessed with a sense of humor in good measure, which was on display both on and off the bench. He brought liveliness to the court proceeding by keeping the atmosphere light, and his wit and humor had always diffused the stress in the court. Self-effacing but persuasive, soft, enduring but assertive, qualities that he bore ever. Judgments betray the judge, unlike theories of science. They tell you his values, they tell you his ability to perceive human suffering in the larger sense of the word, and his capacity for sharing the scales of his empathy. They are a measure of his praxis in transforming the institutions of justice to more civilized and humane levels. Judging judges is a journey through fairy tales and noble dreams, amongst others, said Simon Lee. We gather and recollect a memory of the great solemn moments of doing justice as chronicles integral to our vibrant institutions of justice. During his tenure, about 5.5 years as judge of the court, Justice Lahoti has spent about 342 judgments, many of which have saved jurisprudence of the country. Of the 342 judgments authored by Justice Lahoti during his tenure, his authorship was mostly on criminal law, civil law, commercial and tenancy-related matters. By virtue of his deep knowledge, wisdom and ability, Justice Lahoti reached the highest position in Indian judiciary, coming though from a very humble background. I will not be doing justice if I attempt to summarize the illustrious judicial career of Justice Lahoti in this short span. I am constrained to confine myself to only some of the remarkable opinions penned by him. Justice Lahoti presided over the three-judge bench in Sarbananda's Hon'ble. The Chief Minister of Assam filed a petition asking for a repeal of the Illegal Migrant Determination by Tribunals Act 1983. The Act placed the burden of proof upon the police as opposed to the individual having to furnish proof of citizenship as provided in the Foreigners Act 1946. In a judgment authored by Chief Justice Lahoti, the court annulled the Act on the ground of violation of Articles 14 and 355 of the Constitution of India. The reversal of burden of proof in case of the IMDT Act, according to the opinion, acted as a barrier to the detection of illegal migrants and discriminatory against the bona fide residents of Assam. Justice Lahoti led a 7-judge bench in State of Karnataka versus Mirzapur Moti Sahib Jamaat that overturned a 1959 Supreme Court ruling in which laid down the ban on slaughter of the cause progeny, all bulls and bullocks, was unconstitutional. The endeavor to position the diverse perspective on this highly sensitive issue shows remarkable statesmanship. P.A. Inamdar has virtually changed the landscape of higher education institutions and has laid the foundation for a variety of regulatory measures. Central Board of Dawoodi Bohra community will always be remembered with a sterling emphasis on the discipline of abiding by precedence of co-equal benches. In Atmaram Properties, His Lordship held over passing an order of stay under Rule 5 of Order 41 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. The appellate court of jurisdiction to the tenant has set reasonable terms in order to compensate the landlord for the loss occasioned by delay in the execution of decree by the grant of an order of stay. The judgment has been followed more than 500 times in the appellate courts across the country and has reduced the agony of landlords who, even after having successfully obtained decrees of eviction, had to wait decades for their enforcement while being paid a paltry sum as rent. To identify the traditional, typically conservative justice, Lahoti has earned a place in the long line of purposive constructionists. He could easily and deftly mold relief as render complete justice. The opening paragraph of the judgment in BP Achala Anand, authored by him, proves the point. His Lordship observed as under, I quote, unusual fact situation posing issues for resolution is an opportunity for innovation. Law, as administered by courts, transforms into justice. I quote. It is very close to what Benjamin Cardozo said in The Nature of Judicial Process. I quote. We no longer interpret contracts with meticulous adherence to the letter when in conflict with the spirit. We read covenants into them by implication when you find them instinct with an obligation imperfectly expressed. Unquote. Justice Lahoti granted leave to an estranged wife and allowed her to resist a decree of eviction from rented premises in the occupation of the husband-tenant. On account of his competence and reputation, Lahoti served and arbitrated many high-profile matters after retiring as Chief Justice. For his contribution toward the administration of justice and legal education, Justice Lahoti was widely acknowledged and conferred several honors. He was conferred the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa in the august presence of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, then President of India, at the Rani Mandavadi Vishwavidyalaya, Jabalpur on 12/10/2006. He was also presented with the National Law Day Award 2006 for his unique contribution in the field of administration of justice. On 22nd of August 2007, Lok Jagran Tulsi Chod Sansan Allahabad decorated his lordship with Goswami Tulsidas Samorhan Saman on 2/3/2008. Vikram Vishwavidyalaya Ujjain conferred the degree of Doctor of Laws in the august presence of Dr. Balram Jakar, Governor of Madhya Pradesh, and he was decorated the Sri Ram Kinkar Samman by Sri Ramayanam Trust, Sri Dham Ayodhya. He was also decorated Swami Sri Akanand Saraswati Alankaran 2009 by Sri Rajiv Lochan Trust, Jabalpur, for achieving ideals worth being emulated in the field of Samskar. He was decorated with the National Honor Sri Bhav Bhaveshwara Rashtradi Ratna by Sri Sadguru Swami Akanand Memorial Charitable Trust, Varmal, Gujarat, for exceptional contribution made in the field of judicial reforms and upholding constitutional rights of citizens of India. I appeared before Chief Justice Lahoti while he was in the Delhi High Court and in the Honorable Court in many cases. The evolution of a great judge was so evident. I've both seen, I've shared the dais with him and also been in the audience in several public functions and seminars. I have fond memories of the sweep of his erudition he expressed without self-importance. I recollect his visit to my humble abode a few years ago and the long discussions on life's journeys, ethics, and the search for truth. Thus, Lahoti has lived a very principled life, both on and off the bench. He was a teetotaler, vegetarian, and non-smoker. Thus, Lahoti was passionate about legal aid services and proud dispute resolution. He will all be remembered for upholding the rule of law as a fearless and independent judge. His outstanding contribution to administration of justice and emphasis on speedy justice to the underprivileged will always be remembered. I join the honorable judges and members of the bar in paying homage to the departed soul of Justice R.C. Lahoti. Justice K.N. Singh received his education from LRLA High School in Sirsa and later joined the prestigious Avian Christian College. Justice Singh did a combined course of LLB and MA from University of Allahabad. After earning his master's degree in 1949, K.N. Singh took admission in LM but could not complete the course. The late Sri Sasiji and Babu Mangal Prasad ji both nominated him from the Congress party to contest the district board elections. In 1951, Justice K.N. Singh won the district board elections and became a member of the Allahabad district board. He was a member from 1951 to 1958 and took vow not to take any reimbursement. During these years, Justice K.N. Singh held the office of Chairman of Public Works, Education, and Public Health Departments. In 1958, the district board replaced by an interim Zilla Parishad, and Justice K.N. Singh also served on the district planning committee for the first 2 5-year plans as the director of the cooperative bank. This foray into public life in the formative years of his life had indeed brought him to deep insights into the convergence of law and public policy. He started practicing in the district court and joined the chamber of public work in London as a distinguished civil lawyer. Although Justice K.N. Singh was practicing the district court in 1950, it was not till 1957, he was 30, that he enrolled himself in the Allahabad High Court. Sri Chandra, one of the leading lawyers, had a role to play in this. Although Justice K.N. Singh's first encounter with him had been on the opposing sides, he, according to his personal notes, was greatly impressed with the former's persona. Sri Khare had appeared before the returning officer on behalf of Justice K.N. Singh, opponent in election of membership of the district board, Allahabad, in 1950. Soft-spoken, analytical, and without rhetoric, he persuaded the returning officer to reject Justice K.N. Singh's objection within minutes of his submission. Subsequently, he congratulated Justice K.N. Singh on his success of the election. Afterwards, he came to know Sri Khare had been his family lawyer. 7 years later, on suggestion, Justice K.N. Singh joined his chamber as junior and learned his first lesson in constitutional and civil law and naval guidance. K.N. Singh described his experience of working with Mr. Khare in the following words though familiar yet special. In 1957, I joined Sri S.A. Khare's chamber as a junior. In the course of time, we developed friendly terms with one another. Sri Khare, however, maintained strict discipline amongst his juniors and would not brook any slackness with their work either in his chamber or in the court. He was a hard taskmaster and did not tolerate any casualness, either in the preparation of a draft or analysis of authorities or an argument. He made it clear to his juniors there was no shortcut to the profession of law, and that hard work, study, and the dedication to the cause of the client were the only path success. Being engaged in politics, he became popular too soon. A large number of people began to approach him for help And it is said that Justice K. N. Singh worked on many cases for free in the best and highest editions of the bar. As a lawyer in the High Court, he took up civil, constitutional, and tax matters, amongst other branches of law. On 28 January 1963, he was appointed junior standing counsel for the state of Uttar Pradesh government. A sub-inspector of police against whom the Uttar Pradesh Union Home Minister, Shri Hargobind Singh, had taken disciplinary action, filed a case before the High Court stating that the Home Minister had a personal grievance against him and so was penalizing him. Justice Broom, an upright judge who heard the matter, was persuaded that the Minister was in wrong and the report to have been annoyed visibly with the Advocate General. The judgment was reserved. However, a gentle persuasion from Justice K. N. Singh to reconsider some facts did wonders. The Minister's skin was saved. Justice K. N. Singh was later appointed as Senior Standing Counsel, and in 1970, he was appointed the Advocate General of UP, though only for a short period. His career as a judge started with the appointment with an additional judge at Allahabad High Court in 1970. After 2 years, he was made a permanent judge in 25th August 1972. High Court judges then continued to stay in their private houses and drove their own vehicles to the court. There were no official vehicles or official accommodations. It was only after the emergency, when the government brought about the practice of transferring judges outside their home state, that a housing colony was built for the judges. Even so, those who were not transferred preferred to continue living their own residence. Official cars generally about only in the mid-80s. As K. N. Singh too continued to live in his 4A Minto Road residence in Allahabad, and his driver drove him to the High Court in his ambassador car. During emergency, as K. N. Singh authored many opinions adverse central government in the best editions of an independent case was Shivrendra Kumar Singh Chaudhary was the district magistrate of Allahabad. A former advocate was detained under visa. This case was decided by a bench of 5 judges, of which Justice K. N. Singh was a part. Justice Asthana authored the judgment in Hindi in order that a common man could understand it. Unfortunately, it was one of those cases which was subsequently overturned by the Supreme Court in the ADM Jabalpur batch of cases. Once a lady lawyer from Lucknow, Telvina Pundwani, who was practicing in the Lucknow High Court then, met Justice K. N. Singh and his family on the early vacation in Nainital. She mentioned that whenever Justice K. N. Singh was about to sit in the Lucknow bench of the Allahabad High Court, many lawyers, including senior counsel, would seek adjournment because they were told to be strict and pulling up advocates if they had not prepared their brief well. However, she was astonished to find that the judge was especially kind to her and other juniors. Justice K. N. Singh had a good laugh at this and told her that it was a good observation on her part. On 10th March 1986, K. N. Singh joined the list of illustrious jurists to become part of the Temple of Justice. After 5 years, they succeeded Chief Justice Ranganath Mishra to become the 22nd Chief Justice of India from 20th November 1991 to 12th November 1991. During his 5-year tenure of the Supreme Court, Justice K. N. Singh authored 100 and odd judgments as a part of 330 opinions. I'll just deal with 3 or 4 opinions. In MC Mehta, also known as the Ganga pollution case, was one of the first river pollution cases brought to the court as a public interest litigation. The opinion rendered by the 2-judge bench, presided over by Justice K. N. Singh, has laid the foundation for a great engagement of this court in the campaign of cleaning our pristine rivers. In Shashi Nair, where the constitutional validity of the death sentence was challenged, Justice K. N. Singh took a view leaning towards the social purpose of death sentence. Justice K. N. Singh was also a part of 5-judge bench in Charanlal Sahu involving the constitutional validity of the Bhopal gas leak disaster Processing of Claims Act 1985. The bench unanimously opined that the act was unconstitutional, constitutional, and the entrenchment of the parents' patria principle is now a prominent part of public law. I had the opportunity to appear before the bench consisting of Justice K. N. Singh in the Theri Bandh Virod Sangharsh Samiti, the State of UP, 1992, Supplement 1 SCC 44, a case challenging the implementation of Theri hydropower project and Theri Dam in the high seismic Himalayan range on the ground of non-application of mine to the safety and significant ecological aspects. After retirement, while together in a seminar and a private conversation, he said it was a tall call for him to be judging such complex issues involving science, technology, and public policy. As chairman of the 13th Law Commission of India, he has authored about 10 reports, and during his tenure, I recollect with pleasure my association with him during this period. His passion for precision and keenness towards promotion of rule of law was visible in abundant measure. He also continued to work and serve as the president of the managing committee at the Uday Pratap College Educational Society in Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. At the age of 95, sitting on a wheelchair, it is reported that he went to the crematorium and performed the last rites with beloved wife. He could not leave her till the end, he said. I joined the honorable judges and members of the bar to pay homage to the departed soul of Justice Singh.
Justice U. Lalit, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of this court, the learned Attorney General for India, law officers of the Government of India, members of the family of late Justice Lahoti and Justice Kamal Narain Singh, members of the Executive Committee of SCORA, members of the Executive Committee of SCBA, members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen. Death is ultimate and inevitable, but the intellectual vibrations of a personality always echo around us. We have assembled here to honor the everlasting legacy left behind by our late Justice Lahoti and Justice Singh, who embodied the spirit of judicial fidelity, propriety, and probity. Justice Lahoti was neither a typical Chief Justice nor an ordinary human being. He was truly a blessed soul, a paradigm, an embodiment of integrity, intelligence, simplicity, humility, and clarity of thought. Justice Lahoti was born in the district Guna, Madhya Pradesh. He did his BCom honors from R.A. Poddar College, Bombay, and was awarded LLB degree from the Holkar College, Indore. He joined the bar in his home district in 1960 and was enrolled as an advocate in 1962. In April 77, Justice Lahoti was recruited directly from the bar to the State Higher Judicial Service and was appointed as a district and session judge. After serving as a district and session judge for a year, he tendered his resignation and reverted to the bar to pursue his practice primarily in the High Court. Justice Lahoti was an active Rotarian for about 21 years from the year 1973 to 94 and was also a founder member of the Rotary Club of Guna. Justice Lahoti was transferred to the Delhi High Court on 7th February 1994 and my association with him began then. Justice Lahoti was appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court on 9th December 1998. During his 7-year tenure in the Supreme Court, Justice Lahoti authored 342 judgments. He authored 66 of his judgments in 2002. Out of the 342 judgments written by Justice Lahoti during his tenure, his authorship was mostly on the criminal side, which accounted for almost 21.6%, civil 18, tenancy 14. Justice Lahoti was appointed as the 31st Chief Justice of India in November 2004, on 1st of June 2004. In November 2004, Justice Lahoti broke ground with many of his predecessors who had expressed concern about the growing corruption within the judiciary by proclaiming that the judiciary in India was clean. His tenure as CJI was marked by the way he carried all his colleagues along with him and also how decisions were taken on with consensus. Justice Lahoti demitted office as Chief Justice of India on 31st of October 2005. He retired after having a term of 17 months. His predecessor, Chief Justice Rajendra Babu, had a term of just 1 month. In his distinguished career as a judge of the Supreme Court, Justice Lahoti gave many important judgments. Some of the insightful quotes from his judgments are mentioned below, and I quote, "Every citizen of India is fundamentally obligated to develop a scientific temper and humanism. He is fundamentally duty-bound to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement." In another judgment, he said, "The dignity of the ocean lies not in its fury capable of causing destruction, but in its vast expanse and depth with enormous tolerance." This was on these scurrilous statements by a party against a judge of the Supreme Court. Then in another judgment, he said, "Courts can declare the law, they can interpret the law, they can remove obvious lacuna and fill the gaps, but they cannot entrench upon the field of legislation properly meant for the legislature." Justice Lahoti led the 7-bench bench that overruled the 1959 ruling, which laid down that ban on slaughter of cows' progeny, old bulls and bullocks were unconstitutional. Justice Lahoti was passionate about legal aid services and alternative dispute resolution. Justice Lahoti also served as an arbitrator in many high-profile matters after retiring as Chief Justice of India. Justice Lahoti was on the advisory board of the Indian International Model Union of the United Nations. He was also chairperson of the advisory board of the Faculty of Law at Manav Rachana University. He was appointed as chairman of the advisory board of Sri Aurobindo Foundation for Integral Management, Pondicherry, on 19th of October 2011. He was also presided as an independent director on the board of directors of the Press Trust of India. He headed the Akhil Bharatiya Adhivakta Parishad's Nyaya Chaupal, a forum set up with the stated aim of solving civil disputes that are outcome of crumbling family structure in the new societal order. Justice Lahoti has been a part of several important international conferences and seminars related to the justice. To enlist a few of them, he attended the Law Asia conference held in Tokyo, Japan in 2003. He was part of the SARC Law Conference held in Karachi, Pakistan, the Biennial International Law Association held in Berlin, Germany, the Yale Law School seminar on global constitutionalism in 2000, 2003, and 2005. He was also a member of the 4th Indo-US Legal Forum meet held in Washington and San Francisco in October 2002. He had participated in several other conferences around the globe. Realizing an overwhelming need for reforming the judicial sector in India through the adoption of new technologies and devising national policy and action plan to implement the ICT in courts, Justice Lahoti proposed the constitution of the E-Committee. The E-Committee was to assist in formulating a national policy enabling the Indian judiciary to prepare itself into the digital age, to adapt and apply technologies and communication tools, making justice delivery system more efficient and thus benefit its various stakeholders. The digital platforms created by the e-commerce since then have enabled stakeholders, litigants, lawyers, government, law enforcement agencies, and ordinary citizens to access judicial data and information in real time. And the real benefit came now when the pandemic happened and when this court was forced to get into the digital age. As an eminent jurist, Justice Lahoti rose from a humble background to reach the pinnacle of Indian judiciary by virtue of his ability, knowledge, and wisdom. He will always be remembered for upholding the rule of law as a fearless and independent judge. Justice Lahoti's outstanding contribution to the judiciary of the country and emphasis on speedy justice for the underprivileged will always be admired. Alongside his profound learning and clarity in every branch of law was his deep humility in expressing his views and suggestions. He was not only a great judge, but also an academic. His approach to decision making was driven by logic and the quality or ideal of being just, impartial, and fair. He was aware that none of the human race would ever rise above criticism. He accepted every commentary, whether complimenting or being critical of his verdicts, with equanimity. He was also an ardent listener. He considered any knowledge or information as wealth. He was not an impulsive responder and would never indulge in loose talk or criticism. Rather, he will compliment whenever he found an occasion to do that. He had gratitude galore. For his contribution towards the administration of justice and legal education, Justice Lahoti was widely acknowledged and conferred various honorariums. Justice Lahoti was not only an avid reader himself, but encouraged others to read, gifting people books containing messages on how to derive maximum benefit from them was something he relished. Justice Lahoti was deeply spiritual and dived deep into several dimensions and schools of thought and spirituality. He had an entire library of books relating to wisdom, spirituality, religion, and even scriptures. He did a lot of reading of ancient scriptures of different geographies and civilizations. He often advised people to take out 1 or 2 hours a day to read out philosophy of all religions and their teachings. He said that this would help a person in finding the real fundamentals of life and work ethics. He emphasized the teaching of the Sanskrit language in schools as our ancient literature has a lot of knowledge and is not reaching the masses because the scriptures are in Sanskrit. He said, we must start reading Upanishads, which are in the forms of stories. He shared that I have firm belief in God. I always valued the blessings of elders, good wishes of friends and young ones. I never competed with others, but only with myself. Sharing simple tips on work-life balance, he emphasized rising early, doing prayers, pranayama, yoga, and meditation. There should be just one TV in the house, in the living area, where all can watch it together. No mobile phones and laptops should be carried in the bedroom. News should be viewed and read only for 15 minutes a day. He further added that pictures on the wall and the books on the shelves of house can easily determine the characters of the person living there. He was a very strict vegetarian. He was always eager to learn and open to experimenting, which allowed him to remain ahead of the curve. Justice Lahoti served as an inspiration to many and will always be remembered for his contribution to the judiciary and his emphasis on ensuring speedy justice for the underprivileged. He was known in legal circles as a man of few words. He was very compassionate and was also a man of robust humor. For him, his conscience was his glory. He is a firm believer in Indian values and culture. He said that we are living in exploding times, and if values perish from our lives, the world will be set of walking bodies without souls. He said values are not just ethics, morality, or simply being good. They are enduring benefits of righteousness, goodness, or inherent desirability. These are principles which are shared by the members of one culture to make the choices about what is good or bad, desirable or undesirable. Values contribute to developing philosophy of life, including our aims and ideals, which determine the way we think, behave, or conduct ourselves. Values are like fingerprints. No two fingerprints are the same, but you leave your fingerprint whenever you go and whatever you touch. On the work front, he strongly emphasized people to be respectful to each other, work portfolio, and privacy and tolerant. While working in teams, people should be transparent, considerate, and consistent. Justice Lahoti was a man who could never be caged. He was a man who wanted to soar to greater heights of wisdom and spirituality, and for him, that was an eventual accomplishment. Justice Lahoti had been under the weather since January, and after a brief period of precautionary hospitalization, he returned home and was doing fine. Despite being hospitalized, his vitals were pretty much stable, and he was attending hearings virtually from the medical facility. He logged into an arbitration level that the heavenly abode on 23rd March 2022, exemplifying the definition of a true karma yogi. He is survived by his wife, Mrs. Kaushalya, social worker, three daughters, Ms. Pankaj Soni, Dr. Archana Mantra, and Dr. Vandana Marda. One son, Mr. Ujjwal Lahoti, brother, Justice K.K. Lahoti, sister-in-law, Asha Lahoti, brother, O.P. Lahoti, sister-in-law, Shama Lahoti, nephew, Dr. Amit Lahoti, grandsons, Advocate Devikant Lahoti and Advocate Karthik Lahoti, former Chief Justice of India, died at a hospital at the age of 81. He leaves behind a lasting legacy. As Justice Lahoti said, blessed are those who have a purpose of life, who live a life of purpose with dedication and determination to achieve the purpose. And one day, before bidding goodbye for good, they depart us as having been a winner. Justice Kamal Narain Singh was born into the family of landed farmers on 13th of December 1926 in a village called Chakdiha, which is part of the United Province of British India. The family belonged to the same family tree as Raja of Manda of late Vishwanath Pratap Singh, former Prime Minister of India. Justice Singh's father, Devraj Singh, was semi-literate but laid great stress on education. Justice Singh's initial schooling began in a small village school, but later he was admitted to Lala Ram Lal Agarwal High School in Sirsa, Allahabad. It was here that he came in contact with freedom fighters and would go for Prabhat Ferry in the mornings and give night classes to educate the illiterate masses. He studied English, Hindi literature, history, and completed his BA program from the prestigious Ewing Christian College, Allahabad in 1946. Having a great thirst of knowledge, he did his combined LLB and MA degree at the University of Allahabad. Thus, Justice Singh became the first university and law graduate of Raja of Manda clan and received formal Western education. As a young man filled with the spirit of nationalism and was a Gandhian, he took part in freedom struggle and was arrested, caught by the police twice for distributing patriotic literature, and was also jailed briefly. Subsequently, after India got independence, he was heavily involved in the upliftment of rural areas, especially his native place, Manda, and helped out poor farmers to fight cases. Justice Singh's biography, written by his daughter Sunita Singh, The Making of a Chief Justice of India, Life and Times of Justice Kamal Narain Singh, which has recently been released, has been written in the backdrop of political and social life of those times. He talks about his part in the freedom struggle. Justice Singh comes from the time when the country was transitioning from rural to urban, fighting the baton of the British Raj, creating new concepts of nationhood, filled with the zeal, look at the world with a newfound confidence, new laws, new paths, new governments. The story of Justice Singh and India moves simultaneously, facing challenges, overcoming obstacles, armed with determination to move ahead with freedom and self-reliance. In his early years, he was very much fascinated by planes and wanted to become a pilot. He held a private pilot's license and was selected to join the Air Force. However, his father was involved in heavy litigation, inspired him to join the district bar as a pleader. He was enrolled as a district pleader in Allahabad in 1950, but later he started practice only in 1957, since he continued to be politically active mainly in rural parts of Allahabad district. He also won the election of the Allahabad District Board, which was subsequently superseded by the Zilla Parishad. After a brief stint in local politics, where he also fought an election and won it, he began his career in the legal world. It is fortunate for us that he gave up his political ambitions and joined the profession. He had joined the chambers of senior advocate Shri Khare in the Allahabad High Court, who had represented Indira Gandhi in the election petition. Shri H.S. Khare was the person who, in a way, coerced Justice Singh to join the profession after seeing Justice Singh argue while opposing him as a junior counsel in the district court. He presented Justice Singh with some books and convinced Justice Singh to join his chambers. Justice Singh took up civil, constitutional, and taxation matters in Allahabad. He specialized in election law and represented many famous politicians of the time. Justice Singh stepped into the corridors of justice from the district court of Allahabad to the Supreme Court. He was appointed as an additional judge of the Allahabad High Court in 1970. After 2 years, he was made a permanent judge in 72. His egalitarian attitude was the reason that he was president of the High Court Employees Association. After more than 15 years at Allahabad High Court, he was elevated to the Supreme Court on 10th of March 1986. Although he was not in line to be the CJI, but destiny had planned other plans. After almost 5 years, he succeeded Justice Rangnath Mishra to become the 22nd Chief Justice of India from 25th November 1991 to 12th December 1991, thereby making him the CJI with the shortest tenure of 18 days. He is among the 5 judges of the Allahabad Court who have adorned the office of Chief Justice of India, namely Justice Ravanchu, Justice Mirza Beg, Justice Raghunandan Swarup Pathak, and Justice V.N. Khare. During his tenure at the Supreme Court, Justice authored 100 judgments and part of 336 benches. Most of the judgments were service and constitutional law. In M.C. Mehta, also known as the Ganga pollution case, was one of the first river pollution cases brought to the court as a public interest litigation. The 2-judge bench presided over by Justice Singh noted that despite the provisions of the Water Prevention and Control Act and the Environment Protection Act, neither the state authorities nor the central government had taken any effective steps to stop discharge of industrial waste in the river. The bench ordered the tanneries to set up primary treatment plants as a minimum. In a further order, it was also directed that licenses to establish new factories should be refused if they did not have adequate waste treatment plant. Post his retirement, he became chairman of the 13th Law Commission of India, which was established in 1991 and stayed in office till 1994. Justice Singh continued to work and serve as the president of the managing committee of the Uday Pratap College Education Society in Varanasi. During his time there, he established 2 additional institutions in the society. He was honored with a proud past alumni by the University of Allahabad Alumni Association. Justice Singh believed that an independent and honest judiciary is a sine qua non for rule of law. If judicial officers are under constant threat of complaint and inquiry on trifling matters, and if High Court encourages anonymous complaints to hold the field, the subordinate judiciary will not be able to administer justice in an independent and honest manner. It is therefore imperative that High Court should also take steps to protect its honest officers by ignoring ill-conceived and motivated complaints made by unscrupulous lawyers and litigants. Justice Singh was a stickler for a disciplined and valued time. He also presided over many arbitration after his retirement. Even at the age of 95, he would sit in his office from 5:30 p.m. till 9 p.m. every day. He would get up at 5 a.m. every morning and often play golf. Justice Singh was an enthusiastic golfer and was the president of the Delhi Golf Course. One of his fondest memories was playing golf in Kashmir. He was also very active socially, and most of his friends were younger than his sons and preferred their company. He was always immaculately dressed, would prefer people to have clean shave as he perceived that to be tidier. He loved traveling. One was very well traveled. During his tenure as Advocate General, he would go to Nainital with his family for a month. He was very humble and down to earth and would compassionately speak to everyone regardless of their social or economic background. He could speak to the people who could not speak English with ease and would try to converse with them in their native tongue. After leading an active life for 96 years, he passed away peacefully on 8 September 22 in Allahabad. He received a state funeral. Justice Singh was the eldest of the 5 brothers and 3 sisters. His younger brother was also a judge of the Allahabad High Court. Justice Singh is survived by his son, Justice D.P. Singh, now retired, along with 3 daughters, Srimati Usha Rani Singh, settled in USA, Sadhana Singh, settled in Jaipur, and Sunita Singh, settled in Delhi. Justice Singh leaves behind many granddaughters, grandsons, and also great-grandchildren. His grandson, Devansh Rathore, is also a member of the bar at Allahabad. Apart from this, he was a dedicated family man who was a patriarch to even his extended family members. Recently, when he passed away, scores of ordinary people thronged to pay tribute and said that in a world where they are never counted, he always had time to talk to them and ask about their welfare. It is said that lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. I, on behalf of the Supreme Court Bar Association, offer my heartfelt condolences to the, to the members of the family of late Justice R.C. Lahoti and late Justice Kamal Narain Singh. May their souls rest in peace.
May I request you all to stand up to observe 2 minutes silence in the memory of departed souls.
May I have your lordship's permission to conclude the proceedings of the court?